So, I'm playing vanilla Minecraft, right? Kind of. I have a lot of pet peeves with this game. Like, I love it to death, but some of this stuff blows my mind. Like, for God's sake, can I please just craft mud from dirt and a water bottle? And also, can the water bottle stack? Mojang is brilliant. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can feel the love put into this game. But, yeah. I had enough with some of this stuff, so I made a data pack. And I kind of took this resource pack that I found a really long time ago. I've just been updating it ever since. Adding little bits. Yeah. It's not exactly vanilla Minecraft. I like to call it matcha. Matcha flavored. When I started this world, I actually lived in a swamp. Because I really like swamps. I think they're pretty. And the first house I built there was a little mud igloo. But I kind of realized it doesn't make sense to have a mud igloo in the middle of a swamp. Because it's hot, humid there, and it rains all the time. The thing would flood. So I got sick of it and just left. I took my cat and walked north. Kept walking north. And I found this place. This little gravelly, stony, some sparse grass out in the middle of the tundra. I like it. Pretty here. I've recently learned that igloos are not what I thought they were. My only exposure to them was really from, like, cartoons. And as I've learned a little bit more, I've become absolutely fascinated with the engineering that goes behind them. So, I've only been able to build igloos for, like, the past 2 months. And I wanted to actually do that in survival, which is why we're here. Tundras are badass. Like, I think they're one of the most beautiful environments on Earth. They're just vast and barren. It's a desert. No sand. No heat. Minecraft does not do a good job with tundras. But I was lucky enough to find this area, which looks more similar in my mind to what I was thinking of. This northern Canadian, kind of Nordic, stony place. Lichen and moss. I thought this was the closest I was gonna get, so I set up shop. Also, I noticed that in this area, it rains rather than snows. Obviously, that's because of the Minecraft biome, but I was trying to think of why is this area so much warmer than its surroundings? And I've noticed these little lava pools everywhere. Kind of dotted around. There's some over there. And I thought, well, it isn't the UK. There aren't any warm ocean currents to heat this place up. But it would make sense if this place was really geologically active. And had all of these vents right beneath the surface. I want to do something with that later. I really want to transform this area from what it is right now. Like I said, like Northern Canadian, or like Nordic, that some vast amounts of stone and small snow and frozen solid ground. I'm imagining this whole area being brown and gray and having little bits of moss and orange lichen strewn about. I also, eventually, want to add some lore to it. Of course. Now, I saw this work by Simon Stålenhag. He is a brilliant illustrator. If you've seen his work, you understand what I mean. He has this painting, like illustration, of a radio tower, or it was a generator or something like that. But it was just cold and metal and giant. And I want that here. In the distance of this village. Just this ancient mechanic, always looming. Kind of threatening what's left of humanity. So I am working, little by little, on tearing that mountain down. You can see I was growing some azaleas up there. Trying to prep it. Actually, that entire mountaintop, what used to be there, I tore down with some pickaxes and plopped it right here. All this gravel. Converted all the cobblestone to gravel in the blast furnace and just placed it on top of this. It was a lot more work than I thought it would be. But for now, I mean, that's like a later project. For now, I want to work on this little village in igloos. So I actually do illustration. I mean, I've done it for a long time. I've been getting a lot better over the past few years. I watched Princess Mononoke a couple years ago, and it was the first time I saw a Studio Ghibli film, and I was like completely blown away. And I knew that I wanted to make that. I wanted to make that for myself. This is the first digital illustration I ever did, and this is the most recent. I've done some comics that I never finished. Well, I finished one, but the quality is so different, it's hard for me to look back on. Still, there are parts I'm proud of. So I need to find a jungle, because I desperately need bamboo or scaffolding. Yeah, the only problem is this is a large biome world, and I was trying to find a jungle that is nearby, and there isn't one. So I guess that means it's time to go exploring. I've always been fascinated by the idea of hell. Not like the Crizzo hell with fire and brimstone and like baby shit, like Greek hell or Zoroastrian hell. Not a hell of just physical pain, but a hell of like depression. A hell that makes you give up. Where you're surrounded by the dead because none of them see the point of living. I want to explore that, see what it's like to live in that place. But I'm a coward. A coward? I'm something. I want to say I lack discipline, but in my experience, that word is used by assholes who want to make you feel bad about yourself. So I won't use that word. I'd rather say I'm inexperienced. I don't know what it's like to turn something you love, something that's fun, into work, and to keep doing it, even when you don't want to, because you're committed to some end goal, to it being done. I struggle a lot with that. I hate the Calvinistic ideology I was raised in. In America, work makes you a good person, and those who are successful got there because they worked, because they are good. But obviously none of that is true. It's hard for me to break out of that shit. Like, it's still burned deep in my mind, and I can't get rid of it. It just makes me hate myself. But I'm tired of hating myself. I want to make cool shit, and believe it or not, comics are hard to make. At least the level I want to do it. I'm too wrapped up in making it perfect that I never end up finishing it. So it's time to learn how to not do that. Time to make something half-assed and call it a day. Time to make something easy and fun. Time to make a fucking Minecraft video, dude. So that's why I'm doing this. Making this video, working on this world. Because I want to finish something. And I want to have someone else see it and think, oh wow, you know, that's actually a reflection of how I feel sometimes. Frankly, the easiest way for me to do that is a video like this. We'll see how it goes. It's an experiment. And a fun one, but I'm excited. Once the gas update comes out, like, I mean, at the time of recording, maybe in a month or so, I really want to talk a lot about hell. And I have some cool ideas of things I want to experiment down there, but hell is for later. For now, we work with bronze, clay. It's a wonderful day, everyone. I finally have some bamboo, which means I get adorable little tables. I'm very happy about that. I also gave myself pink hearts because I was messing around with the UI and I got a little bit too excited. I also made these tiny little fish, and I think they're adorable. They have a little blush. They're so cute. Yeah. I'm excited to actually finally get started on the interior. We can talk a little bit more about what the innards are going to be like, because I think it'll be fairly interesting. So, I'm not sure what else I want to add to this place quite yet. I did want to talk a little bit about igloos. So, if you really are interested, you should watch Dr. Halfdan's video on this stuff. Again, he's like a field archaeologist, or at least was. I don't know if he does field work anymore. But he kind of goes over kind of how igloos are engineered the way they are. But I tried to replicate some of the stuff, like the dip in, so that the cold air sinks down and leaves all the warm air inside. I have these, all the beds are elevated in here, and they're very tightly packed, as they would have been. I put some of the igloos, like especially the mud ones that they found on Somerset Island, have whale bones. Had whale bones like into the structure to allow for support, and I thought that was awesome. I put a couple of like bone blocks. They also tended to have pieces of leather and hide on snow igloos as well, to kind of insulate the inside. And they would also separate kind of areas with these cloths and things. I put some clay around. I only have one pottery sherd that I really like, this wolf one. It's so cute, but I don't have anything else right now, so I'm waiting on that. I put 2 little fire pits in here. And actually, I forgot to punch a hole for this one, but I'll do that later. Each of these like have their own little living quarters. Originally, I was going to have this whole area open without a wall here, but it didn't feel compact enough. It should be a little bit claustrophobic in here. And I was imagining that, like, if we look outside, this igloo has all the grass, even like from the surroundings. It's kind of really lush here. And I wanted to explain that as like the heat being generated inside this igloo gives the sod on top, the earth there, like plenty of opportunities to grow where normally it wouldn't be able to. So it's able to withstand a little bit more the cold because of how warm it is in here. I put little roots hanging to show that. Little cups here. Also in here, this is like the kitchen, I guess. So this is where they would do most of their cooking. And I put a little fish and a little copper knife texture there. I mean, I use this, in my data pack, I have the ability to make invisible item frames. So that I can make item frames with the invisible tag true. So it looks like there's just items placed down. I think it looks really cute. It adds a lot of detail to something like this. There is more I want to add. I don't know what that is yet. I do want this place to be kind of busy. Especially here, I think it's really nice just having all of the different bits and bobs. But I wish there was just a little bit more. So in terms of the history of this place, if you notice, a lot of the walls around here use this brown sandstone. And the only place in the floor that has brown sandstone is right here. I was trying to show that... So, a long time ago, maybe 30 years or so ago, when the first people came to this tundra, they found this spot and they made a small igloo here. And it stopped right where this brown sandstone is. And they lived there for about a year or so before the second wave of immigrants came. They found this place, and even though neither of them spoke the same language, they knew that they would have to work together. Because the dark is hostile. So they came together and quickly realized that it was not enough space to hold both of the immigrant groups. And instead of just making another igloo or forcing them out, they decided that it would actually be smarter to pool their resources. After all, tallow, fat, wood, it's really hard to come by here. So it would be easier for them to all share the same spot. So they tore down this wall and they expanded the igloo out this way into the second area. At the time, this wall wasn't here. They did use the whale bones to kind of support the extra structure, but this pillar, it was like all walled off here. They wouldn't have really needed this extra support. As you can see, here's the brown sandstone. This is where the wall used to be. They tore it down. They indented it just a little bit, and they added another fire pit to keep up with all of the new people coming in. But yeah, I think that's kind of how it got here. I was fiddling around with the fact that these two immigrant groups, and even the third one, they spoke different languages. They weren't from the same place. So they came here together, and because they didn't have a shared language, they had to develop a pidgin. If you don't know what pidgin languages are, they're fascinating. It's what happens when a bunch of people are forced together who don't speak the same language and have to figure it out. They create a sort of third language. It's simple, but it conveys the information from both sides. And eventually, those pigeons will continue to evolve and grow, and they could even become the dominant. So I want to express that here. I'm not sure how yet. I don't exactly know where these two immigrant groups came from. Obviously, something bad happened out there that forced them to leave, that forced them to want to come here. I don't know what that is yet. So the only thing left to do is to add the people. In my data pack, I made it so that villages don't generate, because I think they're ugly and they kind of ruin landscapes. Then you have to do a bunch of work to you have to do a bunch of work to, you know, get rid of them and make them look nice. So I don't really have access to villagers, so what I was going to do instead was like spawn some in. There's a game called Terraria. I don't know if you're aware of it, but in that game, essentially, when you build a house and you add certain decorations, certain villagers will show up. And I thought that was an awesome mechanic, and I could not find a way to properly implement that into a data pack. So I'm just gonna cheat it in. Okay, so I took some time to make some villagers, and I have them here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them down. I don't have any workstations yet for them, but they should be fine, and I hope they don't die. But yeah, so I got this guy is the potter. I'm kind of gonna put a limitation on myself here. So he sells all these different sherds, but I actually haven't found these sherds in the wild yet. So I'm gonna wait on the sheaf and the angler. But I find it really useful. This is my favorite guy. I love like ceramics and potting and stuff like that. I think he's really cool. I have a rancher. I thought mob control and like movement is not great. Obviously it'll be better with the gas, but I thought it would be fine to have like these little baby animals, and I made these little textures for the pig and the cow, and I'm very happy with them. They just look so cute in there. I haven't done the lamb yet. I actually took this from there's a mod called like Animal Crate Villagers or something. So I took that as the base, and then I kind of made my own on them. Here's the butcher. We come back. The butcher's gonna be really important because he sells tallow, which is just honeycomb, like a different version of honeycomb. So I can make candles and wax and stuff. And because I'm not killing any animals in this world, so that'll be really useful until I get like a bee farm up and running. Get out of here. And last, the farmer. So now I finally have access to carrots and potatoes because villages aren't a thing and zombies don't drop them. Also, he sells like fertilized eggs, so I can summon baby chickens if I want to. But yeah, I need names for all of these guys. And I haven't decided what those would be yet, so I'm kind of waiting. So for now, they're named their jobs. We'll figure it out later. Alright, I am finally done recording and editing everything. And I don't have any internet right now, so I'm Alex. I have noticed a couple of things that I hate. Is that apparently I can't sit still for 5 seconds. Every time I was talking, I was just like walking around, punching dirt. Oh my god. So I'm trying very hard right now to not do that. At least not punch the freaking ground all the time. And I don't know what to call this place yet. I do want it to be something like North Canadian or Nordic or something like that. But like tasteful, you know. So that means I'm gonna have to do some research and figure out which languages are spoken where in North Canada. And like Somerset Island is kind of where I want to draw everything from. And I need to see like, you know, how many people there are still there. Like are the sites that they dug up, you know, a long time ago, are those cultures still alive and living? Because if so, you know, I don't want to just be taking their languages for fun. You could do that with like French stuff, but I don't know. It's different. It's different for people that, you know, had a genocide against them, so we'll see. But like, yeah, I imagine like this place having a cool name and then like a title screen, like boom. Yeah, that's cool. I want to do something like that. Also, I really thought that this video wouldn't make it past 15 minutes, and it's almost like 25 now. So I'm gonna call it here. Next time, probably, I want to work on Simon Stålenhag's Narkevast or whatever it was. The generator thing. I don't know if the mountain's gonna be done. Also, if the ghast update comes out, then I'm going to Hell, and I might just start doing stuff in there because I'm very excited about Hell. But I think that's it for now. I will get rid of all this garbage. I need a place to put it. So I'm probably gonna make some small igloos off camera and see just to fill it in a bit. I want to terrain it up, but that's a lot to do. We'll see how much time I have this week. But yeah, thank you very much. Enjoy my Alex skin. Bye.